So far, so good? So far, so good. Area of this triangle equals base times height over 2. And then the most classic of all math things of all time. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That old Greek dude, Pythagoras. This only works with right triangles. That's important to realize. We have ventured away from the book. I don't teach strictly from the book.
I just need to write these formulas because, I just need to know.
Oh, who has a key? That's an administrator. Has to be.
No, that's not sure.
You got a super key?
I got shortcuts.
Oh, I was going to say, how did you get a super key? I want one. All right, so if I were to say that this angle is 38 degrees. Oh, that's a terrible 8. If I were to say that this angle is 38 degrees, how would I find out that third angle? 180 minus 90 minus 38. $52 degrees. Does that look like 52 degrees? No. But guess what? Nothing on the ACT test is drawn to scale, so never trust what's drawn. Always go by what you think, or what the math tells you. Not what you think, what the math tells you. Right? So we just solved an interior angle question. Awesome. Well, what if I told you that this value was 3 and this value was 7? What's the area of that triangle?
You say 7 times 3 divided by
Base times height. Base times your height divided by 2.
Oh.
So if we do our 7 times 3, that gives us 21. Divide that bad boy by 2, gives us 10.5. Now are we ready for this last one? We're going to keep our same side lengths, 3 and 7. And we're going to say that I want to know how long, what is this part of the triangle called? The hypotenuse. Let's see if I can spell it. H-Y-P-O-T-E-N-U-S-E. Hypotenuse. I want to figure out how long that hypotenuse is. Who's going to talk me through this? Ms. D, thank you. How am I going to do this?
Wait, I'm still on the other thing. How come
Mm-hmm.
at 38 degrees, what does that line go to?
Just this angle right here.
Oh,
And this 52 is talking about this angle right here.
and that 7 is the line.
This is the side length. This is the side length.
Oh, let me fix that.
I could have color coded that better. Now, when you are doing this, it does not matter which leg you label as A and which leg you label as B. legs of the part of the triangle that aren't the hypotenuse. All that matters is that your hypotenuse stays C. All right? We don't know what C squared is. But we know that A squared could be 3 plus B squared is going to be 7. So we know C squared is equal to 3 squared plus 7 squared, which is equal to 9 plus 49. Nine and 49 is 58. That was an extended period. That wasn't a question mark at the end of that statement. So now I got C squared, I can write all the way to the floor, is equal to 58. What do I do now? I got to get rid of this square, so the only way to do that is to take the square root of this side and to take the square root of that side. So I now know that C is equal to radical 58, or what happens, let's see. If you want to take the square root of something, take a look at your calculators. Press the second button in the top left where it says x squared. Press that. And you should see a little radical symbol pop up. Type in 58 and press enter. And that gives you a value of?
7.6.
Excellent. 7.6. On your tests, they can give it to you either as radical 58 or that 7.6. Either one. Triangle 101. Don't worry, guys, just 6 more hours of math to go. We're going to math our lunch.
If I do the video, will I be counted present visitor?
That is going to be a Curtis question. Right? Curtis is the one who does all the uploads and stuff. Are you just filming my morning? You don't want to film the rest of my Triangle 101? That's okay. Triangle 101's over. Someday you guys are gonna see me on the silver screen. All right, so that was our Triangle 101 and our Circle 101. Those are the only thing. Okay, take a step back. If you can do those initial word problems we did, and you can solve these, you can get your 18 on the test. These are the essential skills for doing well on the ACT math test. Realistically, you can get into any school with a math score of like, if you got a math score of 2 did well in your other sections, you're good. Like you can get into pretty much any school. You can get that math score only knowing how to do triangle stuff, circle stuff, and most basic algebra, just to be able to rearrange those equations. And if you can estimate things and ballpark them, like we were talking about earlier, then you will absolutely crush this test and get your 30 problems right, no problem. So back to the book, bottom of page 199, where it says volume. Volume of a cube is going to be side cubed, so one side cubed, so side times side times side. Volume of your rectangular solid is length times width times height. Hello, Lydia.
I don't drink it anyway.
Solid, rectangular solid is what?
Length times width times height.
Body lunch.
And then your cylinder, which you will see approximately never on your test, is pi r squared, so the area of a circle, times your height. So if you want to find the area of Delmetria Milliner's Coca-Cola can, you would do pi r squared for the base and multiply it by the height. So now we're going to use our logic brains real quick. And it says the volume of a cube is 64 cubic inches. What's our formula for a cube?
Squared.
Length,
Cube.
side length cubed. How are we going to find what one edge, so one side of that cube is, if we know that the volume is 64? Do we divide by 3? How do we get rid of an exponent?
Panic.
Panic also works. I'm pretty sure if you were to set your test on fire, you would not have to answer that question. So if we want to get rid of a square, we take the square root. And if we want to get rid of a cube, we take a cube root. Do you? All right. How do we do it on this calculator is my question. Okay, I'm going to teach you an easier way to do it so you don't have to worry about cube roots. Even better. Oh, actually, yeah. We can use that as well. Start with our middle answer choice. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125/64. Too big, right? Go down 1. 4 times 4 times 4. Or you could do a cube. Either way.
I know how to do that. Cubic root.
You do 4. You press that little caret symbol right here. And then you type a 3 and press enter. Or if you want to be a real math whiz, you can type 64 to the 1/3 power. But that's only if you want to be a math whiz. Turn the page. And take a look at the bottom at question number 11. So go ahead and try question number 11 on the following page. You are on page 200. Guys, today's my last day of school for this year right now. I'm so excited. It just dawned on me last night. I'm like, damn. What? Well, here's the thing. We were gonna go to the Bahamas, and we were gonna buy a Groupon, but they only had one left for that trip, so we didn't get it. So we're like, oh, whatever, you know, we'll just get one soon. And it's lucky that we didn't get it because all next week, everywhere in the Caribbean is just straight rain.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait until the rain passes and then go down. Groupon has ridiculous deals though.
I was afraid of you until I knew a couple of people who.
All right, so this is real life. This is something that you may actually have to do at some point in your life, calculating things like this. If you called a contractor for this, I would be disappointed in you, D. A rectangular dance floor has a tightly stretched rope running around its perimeter. If the dance floor measures 20 feet by 30 feet, what is the length in feet of the rope? What are we going to do? How do we find perimeter? Add up all the sides. So draw yourself a picture of what they got there. What shape is it going to be? Do they give you your dimensions? So write all those bad boys on there and add them up.
My tall guy would have gotten on and only had my son said.
Oh man.
My personal card.
Got you. That's what you
Hello.
Is Milner in here?
She is.
Would you tell her that I brought her blanket back to her room? That I
Certainly.
repaired. I just wanted to know it's in there. You want a cookie?
I would. Is that okay?
Sure. They're leftovers. But they're all oatmeal raisin.
That's beautiful. That's the best kind.
They're all oatmeal raisin.
I'm going to take 2.
Okay, I'm trying to get rid of them.
Anybody want oatmeal raisin cookies? You want, how many you want? 1 or 2? Excuse me? Bug you that touching?
I'm not tripping, brother.
Anybody else want some cookies out there?
Just oatmeal raisin.
Just oatmeal raisin. The best kind. Racist.
She didn't have nothing to do. I don't know.
I am raisin, raisins, but they look like roaches.
They're just old grapes,
They're old roaches.
What? Why you say that when I'm eating cookie?
right? Rube.
They do kind of look like.
You want one? Why?
You said they're old people cookies?
Then you can't go to raisin cookies. There's no animal milk.
It is.
Well,
Milk and eggs. Ain't no milk and eggs that come.
Should have, but very easy.
This vegan diet is so boring.
No, it's not. It's so wonderful.
that was boring. You know what I had for dinner last night? 6 burger patties.
That's all.
That's all. It's not enough.
Get my macros in. Straight protein last night.
It used to be 16 to 20 every day.
My daughter needs to eat that.
All right.
She doesn't eat meat a lot.
I'm not about to smash angles with you. Angles is a lot.
You can say the answer for 11.
Oh, answer for 11. 30 plus 30 is 60. 20 plus 20 is 40. 60 plus 40, 100.
Steve.
Why are these questions numbered oddly?
Every one of these questions is taken straight from an ACT test, and that was number 11 on whatever test that was.
Did somebody make these cookies? I mean, the kid or something?
Perhaps.
Said they were left over from something they had.
What's her name?
It was bright.
Bray, that's what it is.
She probably made them.
Whew.
They taste homemade.
We're not going to go into that. I'm not going to make you do. Okay. If you can do this-ish, somewhat, you can definitely teach it with an answer key in front of you. Like if it kind of makes sense, if it kind of makes sense to you right now, you're good. Plane geometry is very hard. I'm not gonna make y'all do plane geometry right now. Definitely not doing trigonometry.
So that's a trend. If you don't like algebra, you like geometry and trig, because that's what.
230.
I even like stats.
I don't like any of that.
Go to 238. We're headed to 238. You remember the problems where it's like Bill, Jane, Sarah, and Johnny are in line? How many different ways can they stand in line?
It depends on what they're doing.
Really? Still in school, Miss D. Not summer yet.
She's writing in her mind.
Okay. These are going to be really simple, but go through questions 1 through 4. Is this mic going to pick up the sound of me chewing? I'm going to be very self-conscious if it does.
You asked the wrong kid.
Unless you're smacking.
Okay, good.
You asked a kid who's like you.
Don't overthink these. Go with your initial instinct. I wish I had like 8 more of those cookies right now. Oatmeal raisin is my favorite kind of cookie.
Why didn't you get more? She's trying to get rid of.
I don't need 8 oatmeal raisin cookies right now. I would not be able to remain in this building. I would have so much sugar in my system. All right, so if a friend tells you she's done half her homework assignment, how many, is that many or few pages?
Many.
Do we know? We don't. We don't know how long that assignment is. Another friend tells you he has done 100 pages worth of his homework assignment. Is he almost done? I would hope so too, but who knows? Your mother, you tell your mother you've spent 2 hours on homework. How many hours are there left to finish? Who knows? And you've told your mother you've done 25% of your homework.
75.
Does she know how much you have left to do?
Yes, 25.
25% left. The key to word problems is you can't assume anything. You only go based upon what's there. All right? And that goes back to the English section as well. Well, more the reading section. We'll get to that later. Only go by exactly what's on the page. Anytime you see mixed fractions, okay? So like 7/8 or 4/7, please turn it into decimals. It's so much easier for the kids to understand. So instead of seeing 3/4, just put it as 0.75. It's way easier for everyone to understand. Yeah. Okay. This is another important one. Percents. Right? If you want to find the percent of a number, say I wanted to find 60% of 20. How can I go about this? What are some ways you find percentages? So we turn that into a decimal, 0.6, and then we multiply that by 20, which gives us 112? 0.6.
Oh, 0.6.
Always use your calculator. If you can't look at it and say 1 plus 1 is 2, calculator. 72. Should be smaller than 20. Should be like 12. So we find out that 60% of 20 is 12. Okay? Go ahead and try this one. We're going to say 35% of 18. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. How did you find that, Delmetria? 0.35 times 18. There's 4 problems on the test. Just finding percentages. Okay. Well, we're going to work through question number 23 together. So it says, what percent of a number? 20% of n equals what? 36. What's the next part of the question?
What is 0.2% of n?
The key to problems like this is to attack it step by step. 20% of n is 36. Okay. So this is 20% of the total number. So that means 80% of it is not there, right? 20 times what is 100? 36 times 5 is? So if this is 20%, right?
180.
You have to multiply 20 by 5 to get 100%. So then you take this and multiply it by 5 as well. And that gives us what?
180.
So what is 180? The whole, the n, right? So now it's saying what's 0.2% of it? So what are we going to do? To go from 20% to 100%, it's a multiple of 5. So 20 times 5 is 100. So then you multiply this number by 5 to find out what 100% of n is. So now we got 0.2%. So what's the decimal form of 0.2%? 0.02. We got to move it over 2, right? So what's it going to be? 0.002 times 180. Did you get 180? That's all that matters. All that matters is you get the answer. It doesn't matter how. So that would be an example of medium level question, not because the math is any harder, it's just more steps, right? And because everybody messes up on this part. All right, y'all have at 25. Let's see how you do with it. Mm-hmm.
So go work that out on the board then, Mr. Mayberry, if you have. You start at the top, not the middle?
I started at the bottom.
And did you see it was too small?
It's 8.
So you just moved on up, right? So look at you. You just double strategied. You ballparked and plugged in the answer.
That is really good. You started at B. I said 60 times 60. And then that was not enough, so I went up 0.7.
See how it's just so beautiful to see things that you teach used without you telling them to use it. God, that's the greatest feeling.
Why is it when I first started reading that question, I almost panicked. Like, damn, I'm gonna figure that out. But then it started flooding.
And then you're like, wait, those strategy things that he taught us, they work. What? Okay, so we can do this one of two ways. We can do it with the plug-in, or we can say $42, right? So say you got 9 problems out of 15 right on a test, right? So to find your percentage, you divide 9 by 15, which is going to give you, what's 9 divided by 15? 0.6. So what percent do they get on their test? If they got 9 out of 15 right?
Is it 60?
Mm-hmm. They got a 60, right? So the same thing here. They spent 42 out of their 60 total dollars. Divide those 2, and that gives you
27, 70.
So if you divide the amount you spent divided by total, that gives you 0.7. Move that decimal over to 70%. So if you want to do it the math way, you can. If you want to do it the plug and play way, you can. All that matters is that you get that answer choice A. Oh, guys, we're almost there. We are so close to being done with math.
Were you able to use the same strategy on that one? They did it? Or no?
Okay, we got 2 things left to do, and then we're done with math. The first thing, if you would, please turn to page 242. It is. All right. Kids get tripped up. They can find the percentages. Sweet. Awesome. But when it comes time to put it in money terms, and you have sales and original prices and all that, then they sit there and say, I don't know. Take a look at, go through question number 7, so you can see the type of question the kids struggle with a little bit. There is a 100% chance you will see a question just like this on an ACT test if you were to take it tomorrow.
Okay, so
D.
We'll see. When do grades go in?
Today, I think. Really? Like, really?
I don't remember what time the email said, but it said today.
I guess. It's not, I would have probably would have.
Which one did you say, Ms. D?
I said D, but it's probably wrong, because it was too easy for me to figure out.
You're right.
Yay.
Talk us through what you did.
I multiplied, .80 times 2150.
Sweet, simple, to the point. All right. So it's 80% of today's price. Today's $21.50. Multiply that by 0.8, and all of a sudden you have the price. Does it tell you time? From 5 years ago.
So on that one, you kind of guesstimating when to work. So you would have, just looking at it, I would have thought it was a little smaller.
Okay, so now we're about to venture into the wonderful world of probability.
The probability of me failing math is like,
Excellent. Go ahead and turn to page 257.
Maybe are you get the license?
I have them, you know what? I need to figure out why it's not as short test grades. I already have them.
Which one? The try? Okay. Once you post them to your report card, so you go to your grading section.
Classroom grade.
At the bottom it says post all to report card.
So I can do that now.
You can do that now. Press OK. It says they're all posted now, right? Click on one of your classes. See all those tabs at the top? There should be one that says report card. Now you'll see your exam. So if you put in the grade for their trimester exam, and then you scroll over to try 3, you can calculate their grade to see what they're going to get.
So you're saying, okay, so we just one example right here.
So say this kid got an 80 on their final. So type in, go down to their, because right now you're just giving everyone an 80. Yeah. So if you click it right in there beside it and put an 80, and then scroll over to the right one where it says trimester 3, and then go down and click calculate grade.
Okay.
That shows you what they would get if they got an 80 on their final exam.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, so super simple. Probability is what do you want to get over how many total there are. Simple enough, right? So the key to probability questions is following them in exactly the order that they give them to you. The questions that go, you have 5 different colors of marble. What's the probability of pulling a blue one, then a red one, then a green one? Don't worry about those ones, all right? All you're worried about is you have the total number of things and the number of ones that you want to pull out. So if we're looking at question number 9, we have 24 white marbles, 10 blue marbles, and 6 red marbles, right? So how many total marbles are there? 40. What is the probability that Cheryl will not select a blue marble? So how many blue marbles are there? So what number is going to go on the top of our fraction if 40 is on the bottom? And you don't want blue. 30 out of 40. Can we reduce that fraction?
Yes.
To what? Answer choice? E. Done.
Could you go through that again?
Mhm.
Thinking process.
Certainly. So we have 40 total marbles, right? And we want a not blue. So we put what we want, our total number. So in this case, out of the 40, we have 10 blue ones. So we subtract 10 from that 40 for the not blue ones, which gives us 30. And our total number is 40. So our fraction is 30/40ths, which then reduces down to 3/4. Ready for this? This is something you have to do with your kids. This is my favorite. I love watching my kids do this because they get so fired up and then they get so mad right afterwards. All right, I have blue. I have pink. And I have brown. How many different orders can I put those three colors in without repeating?
24.
Is that your final answer? Would you bet your life on that?
Not for that. What number? 51. Red, blue, and brown?
Pink, blue, and brown.
3, 6.
Why do you say that?
3 times 2 times
What? You know the trick? See, what you're supposed to do is be like, okay, so we can go brown, pink, and then blue. That's one combo. Or we can do brown, blue, pink. Can we do any of the brown combos? No. Well, we can do blue, brown, pink, blue, pink, brown, pink, blue, brown, pink, brown, blue. I almost drew all awesome bees. Any other orders they can go in? So we got brown, pink, blue, brown, blue, pink, blue, brown, pink, blue, pink, brown, pink, blue, brown, pink, brown, blue. Try saying that fast, English teachers. So we got how many total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the kids are always like, yeah, see, I can solve that. I can do that. And then you're like, okay, well, what if you had another color? What if I threw red in there? And then they start making their list and be like, oh, wait, these lists are longer. And be like, yeah. So on questions like this, you take your total number. So in this case, we have 3. 3 things. And you multiply them. 3 times 2 times 1. What's 3 times 2? Times 1? 6. There's 6 combinations possible. If I had red, blue, pink, and brown, how many combinations or how many different things do I have now? 4. So in that case, I would do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. If I have 4 things, I have 24 possible answers.
But if you tell me in probability If you give me this formula, I would not have thought to use it that way.
Oh no, this is different.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is talking about if you have all different, right now we're just closing out the math section. We have all different combinations possible. How many combinations are there? No matrices, no charts, no word problems. What, guys? Adjectives. Averages, add them all up, divide them by the number. Don't need to worry about logarithms or matrices. Oh, they do. Me too. You definitely do not need to worry about the amplitude of sine waves. Guys, I know you're going to be super disappointed about this, but that brings about the end of our math section. Nope, no more. Here's the beautiful thing about math, though. As much as it sucks sometimes, there is always only one possible answer to each question, right? I fell yesterday. I caught myself well, though. There's only one possible answer, and math is logical. So you can just step by step it, and eventually, with enough practice, it makes sense, right? Someday, if you wanted, it could. I have faith in you, D. All right, y'all. We will meet back here at 12:25. What? 12:25. So y'all have your reading introduction on 369? Awesome.
Yeah.
I was in class the other day, or in the beginning of the year, I was like, 369, and nobody finished the song, and I was like, yeah, okay. Okay, so you got 4 passages in it. You got your 40 questions. It always is the same. There are 4 passages, 10 questions per passage, and they're always in the same order. You get prose, social science, humanities, and natural science. So the ACT always has their reading based upon the natural science as well as the science section of the test, and they combine those 2 scores for your science grade. The passages, it says the passages are equal in length, but if you have a prose fiction one versus a humanities one where it's an expository text and prose fiction is all dialogue, it goes way faster reading your prose than your other than your humanities or your other subjects. So with reading, first things first, you got to go to your POOD. You got to say, okay, what type of I know, right? That's not a great word. Your POOD, your personal order of difficulty. I'm never erasing this. I hope that stays up all summer. That'd be so sweet. So you got your personal order of difficulty. That's when you sit here and say, do I like reading about science? Do I know a lot about history? Do I want to read about something with English people talking to each other? Like what's going on? What do I like to do? What am I going to do? And then once you figure that out, then you go to it. So once again, we got 40 questions in 35 minutes. We got less than a minute per question. So the strategies and the time management on this section are super, super important. So let's take a look. Oh, and another important thing is the questions are not always in order in terms of the passage. So like they could ask you a question about the beginning of the passage or the end of the passage for the first question. And then the 10th question could be about the very first line in it. It is the way it is. In the words of Kurt Vonnegut, so it goes. Hope you hope. Okay, so the goal with this section is to get kids to answer this and do everything without reading. Okay? Our goal is to eliminate as much reading as possible when it comes to the reading test. That being said, you can't do it without doing some reading. But this is what happens. And ACT and Princeton Review have done a whole unbelievable amount of studying on it of kids who will go in, they'll read the whole passage, then they'll go and they'll look at the questions, and they'll try to go through the questions one by one after having read the passage. Now, you'll remember some details, but if you're reading a 400-word passage and they ask you a question about paragraph 2, and they use key words from paragraph 2 that sound like they're going to be right, and you say, oh, I remember having read that, but those words that stuck in your mind are talking about something different than the actual answers that they want you to know. So they're measuring comprehension, but they're also measuring your ability to locate specific information and comprehend the information in that exact portion. Okay? That being said, the number one thing to realize about the reading section is if it is not written, if it is not explicitly in there, it's probably not going to be right. They try to get you with a lot of inference-based questions where it's a logical inference to make, but if it's not specifically written, you don't use it. It's not going to be the right answer. Now, when you are looking at your questions,